molecular bond deals with, write that down. So,
B is just zero order, right? B is zero order and all
Rules out of those.
yeah, I know, that's it's kind of tricky. That's why I'm trying to do it, just so I can like, have a little bit of something to go off of.
So I'll just write down everything.
it's zero, so put it in the y-axis is zero. But then, I guess if you wanted to put it in there, mathematically it makes sense. It becomes one. But that one's really.
Is there a reason that you don't use, like, don't tell the numbers there? Like, obviously it's a lot less specific than these guys.
Yeah,
Like, is that like a flaw in the system, or is that just how it's supposed to be? It doesn't matter how many are there, because it
Yeah,
only matches a certain way.
it doesn't matter because in molecules, what happens is they form like N2S, and S, and so that's just one molecule,
Mm-hmm.
and those bonds are pretty set.
Yeah, because you can only give so many like electrons at certain.
Yeah. But with ionic compounds, they don't form molecules; they form like crystals or salts.
Okay.
And so, like sodium chloride, for example, like sodium will lose an electron and become a cation, and chlorine will gain his electron and become an anion. And so you won't have just NaCl like that. It'll more exist as like these two are attracted, but there's also a Cl being attracted right here.
Yeah, just the charge thing.
Yeah, so
Not actual sharing electrons sort of thing.
yeah, so it doesn't form a set molecule. It forms just a big complex like a crystal.
Okay.
And so the numbers don't really matter. It's just the ratio that you want to know.
Because it kind of just depends on how many's there, depends on how many will stay.
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense.
What is the rate for this reaction?
There's-
Weird, right? Because we have two reactions that have different rates, making up this reaction. The idea then is, what is,
So I just need to keep track of like metals and non-metals to figure out if he gives me that versus that. I should know like that's a covalent bond, that's an ionic bond, and then
Perfect.
be able to make, okay.
Yeah.
That helps out.
in the case of
Let's see.
this, whenever it tells you that this is steady state,
It's just NO3. And 8 always means it's a hydrate, so there's always water, right?
Yeah. There's oxygen,
Oh, right.
and so with those rules, you have hypo, ite, per, and that's gaining oxygens. Gaining.
This is just with the hydrates?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so like you can have hypochlorite, chlorite, chlorate, perchlorate, and that would just mean hypochlorite. I think that has just one oxygen. This would have 2 oxygens. That would have 3 oxygens, and this one has 4 oxygens.
Does it ever do anything different? Like, is it always going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 like that? Or is it going to be like, okay.
Yeah, but what changes is like for other ones, this might not have a hypo, and this might be 4, that 3, and that 5, and so the numbers aren't always consistent. But that you gain 1 and it changes from ite to 8, that's consistent. Gain another, it goes to per 8.
So if it just gave me one like 03 or something, would I know if it's 8 or 8 or?
No, so you just have to memorize one of them. Like I would always memorize the 8s, like chlorate, nitrate, know
Okay.
how many oxygens it has, and then if it gives you nitrite, you know, okay, then that's just one less than nitrate.
Gotcha, okay. I guess that's where the polyatomic ion stuff comes in, right?
Yeah.
Still gotta memorize this.
Yeah,
Alright,
really tough.
sounds good. Let's see. Is there any other, things you can give me for hints on what to study? That you noticed that I need to work on?
You have, so with, so 8, if you have an 8 and you add an H to it, or make it an acid,
Mm-hmm.
it goes to, nitrate goes to ick.
Trick?
Yeah, so it goes to ick and ike goes to us. So that's something to
Okay,
remember.
let me write this up here. IBO to ite to 8 to per 8. It is per 8, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And so if it's an acid, then ite turns to us,
Yeah.
and then 8 turns to ick. Okay. Sounds good. And if it's a per 8, would that ever change the end of the name, or is that just staying?
No.
Okay.
And this is hypoite too.
Oh, hypoite.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if it doesn't have a if it doesn't have an oxygen, like you got these up here,
Mm-hmm.
then you don't, you won't use these up here.
It needs an oxygen for those.
Yeah. And all the endings will be ick.
Gotcha. Okay, so if there's oxygen, you do the hypoite 8 per 8, and if there is an oxygen, it's always an ick ending.
Yep.
And then if there's a hydrogen before it, it's some type of acid.
Yeah.
So it's still an ick, all that sort of thing. So like all these have oxygens, and that's why they're us and icks and, okay.
Yeah, so there's just a bunch of rules.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know them all.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm trying to figure them out. It's a whole nother language. So,
it is.
like, trying to get it all down.